first a gradual process for me over several years of feeling really that on one hand I was seeing so much evidence around me of how wonderful elements of Earth and the natural world were, and also how brilliant so many humans were, and all that we'd created, and that was being paired with increasing concern over a lot of really terrible scientific information that was saying that all of that beauty and wonder and everything was under such severe risk. And during that time as well, I'm a rower, and so I was spending quite a lot of time outdoors, and I think in some ways that allowed me to increase my sense of how much beauty there was, and spend so much time on the river and beneath amazing sunrises and sunsets, and thinking, wow, this is it's such an enormous privilege to be in this natural world. But at the same time, I was feeling like I was spending a lot of my time rowing backwards on various puddles of water, and I was thinking, the science really suggests that this is only going one way, and we have a very limited time to resolve that. And here I am, relishing the opportunity of being in all of this beauty, but without really seeing a way of doing much to protect it, beyond recycling milk cartons and cutting down on using animal products. So suddenly there seemed an opportunity to pair the sport that I was really loving doing with a way of using that to kind of pursue a resolution for the other thing that I really, really cared about, and really cared about more than anything else. So I think that's really been what's guided me down this path. And at the same time, I've been increasingly inspired by so many people, especially Greta Thunberg, and just thinking, okay, there are people out there who are single people and able to make a huge difference. So what could a collection of people do?
Kind of similar to Melissa in that, like, I grew up seeing just how beautiful the world was, and, you know, all these documentaries where I just could not wait to get out of New Zealand and go and explore it. But I think I was training for the national team, and I was just setback after setback, and every time I had one of these setbacks, I was kind of drawn into nature to reflect about things, and it was just kind of like my serene, happy kind of content place where I started to learn more about myself and the world and how it operates. And I think it was the pull into nature really helped me appreciate it a lot more. And then traveling the world through football and seeing for myself that it isn't what I thought it was. Like, I've been to quite a few places now where there isn't a lot of places that haven't been kind of conflicted and interrupted by human activity. And it was kind of shocking to me to realize this. And then I heard a speech from Etienne about the responsibility to kind of speak up, and as athletes that we have a voice that we can use. And it really struck me. I was like, whoa, hang on, this is what I'm super passionate about, as well as football. I want the natural world. I want generations to come to be able to experience the beauty in it, and I want the animals to be free and, you know, just being. And that really resonated with me. And so I reached out to Etienne, and here we are, like a few months later, bringing a team of athletes together and just trying to make a better world, really, aren't we? So it's been quite the journey. I feel like it's a journey of self-discovery and figuring out, like, what is my impact on the world and the environment around me, and naturally has kind of led to this.
So yeah, it's an interesting question. Looking back, I think, for me, it must have all started when I was in the Scouts. When I started canoeing in the Scouts and learned, to go into the wider world, into nature. And I don't think at the first part it was about, um, all that stuff, but I think it gave me a kind of grounding in that. And I suppose across my career, I was lucky enough to visit some really cool places and to actually find that amazing awe that you find experiencing in beautiful places, natural places, and experience the kind of amazing feeling of being like insignificant but also significant at the same time. And I think that gave me the connection, and understanding. I was kind of environmentally aware during my career, but it was just a side thing compared to what I was doing. When I retired in 2016, I was basically prepared to dedicate my life into helping other people release and explore their potential, because in my journey in sport and experience in watching other people, you get to realize that human beings are just this amazing ball of potential. They just do not know, a person does not know what they're capable of until they have tried and perhaps done it. And even in the trying, you do things that you didn't think you could do anyway. And so I was prepared to go out and, be working like youth working and work with young athletes, work with perhaps in the corporate space, work with anybody who actually wanted to kind of grow and become all they could be. And then at some point, and I still don't really know when, it will have been a gradual thing, I started to realize that all these plans, all this beautiful human potential was facing a blockage, basically, a kind of a complete roadblock, because the world that we need to unfold ourselves and unfold our wings and fly in, that world, that future where we all want people to be able to be what they can be, where I wanted to see this beautiful ability of human beings to do these beautiful things. That world is not going to exist. The science is telling us, in fact, the science is telling us, the news is telling us right now that this is under grave threat. And to me, it seemed really sad that all this human potential was going to really struggle and perhaps not be wasted. I don't know exactly, but it wasn't going to unfold the way that I was hoping it was going to be. And so I kind of realized that to be consistent with that aspiration, consistent with that commitment to human beings and to allow human beings to flourish and thrive. Actually, there's one thing I needed to do, which was to try to contribute to the changing course from the one we're on now, which is towards basically catastrophe and misery and real injustice and unfairness and unhappiness, towards a place where we can actually play out our lives, and everybody around the world can play out their lives in a way that allows them to be what they can be, and to experience something of the amazing things that I have done and that other people involved in sports have done, where they've actually got to experience how amazing they can be. And so that turned me into a champion for Earth, because I realized I have to do that one thing first, or have to be involved with that one thing, and hopefully that will pave the way and allow for the next thing to happen. So that's me.
Turned me into it, I think, was having these kind of twin worlds of sustainability world, where I've worked all my working life, environmental world, and a sporting career before that, and noticing that all my heroes, or the people I really looked up to, were from the world of sport, and I didn't really have any equivalent hero figures, leader figures, people who were playing for the win in the world of environmentalism. There was a lot of compromise, there was a lot of bold gestures, there was a lot of appearing to do the right thing, but no one who, and Melissa, you name checked her, be more Greta, that whole spirit, that Boadicea style. We're not taking any prisoners. We've got to do this. That energy was missing for me in the environmental movement, and if something's missing, it seemed logical to try and find it. So that's me. That's what Champions for Earth. I think that's the dream that we're all playing for the win.